Monday on the premiere of Connie Chung. Did words from an old flame ignite the worst fire in Colorado history? An exclusive interview with the family of accused arsonist Terry Barton. Then, who says the news isn't funny? Jon Stewart takes on Connie. CNN Monday, 8 Eastern.
Arizona's Governor Jane Hull is speaking right now about the fires in her state. Let's listen in.
I will never be able to thank them enough. Their lives and the lives of people are what are the most important things about this fire. We've got to make sure that lives are saved first. Public safety comes next, and the sheriff, the police, the DPS, all of them together have been able to have a very orderly evacuation of Show Low, Pine Top, Lakeside, towards Honda. People are in Round Valley, some in Holbrook, and now started in White River. The health of the forests, and I think many of you know I came to Arizona 40 years ago, and I've had roots in Pine Top, Lakeside for at least 30-some years. I know this country. I've never seen anything like this fire. This fire is something that Western governors are now meeting in Phoenix. We've talked about and talked about and talked about. And the word does not seem to get back to the environmentalists, to the courts, who keep us from cleaning up the fires. Mother Nature right now is saying to Arizona, saying to the West, and hopefully that message is getting to Congress, that we have got to clean up these forests. Nature did it. Nature did it on a very regular basis before people came out here. Now nature is telling us that we have got to get this in control. This is the most out-of-control fire we've ever seen. This is the time to get our act together and realize that the healthier the habitat is, the cleaner the forests are. And I think that hopefully when this is all over, you can take that opportunity to go see what a healthy forest looks like, because we have them in Arizona. We have them on the reservations. The White Mountain Apaches have been doing a great job of being able to clean their forests. That message has got to go out. With that, again, my thoughts and my prayers are with my friends all over the White Mountains. Lives are the most important thing that we can have, that we can save. You know, homes. Again, I think I'm sicker for people who have a first home here, who don't have a roof over their heads. The state will do everything in our power to help. We will be up here as much as we can. And let me just again tell you that our prayers are with everyone in Show Low, everyone in the White Mountains, and everyone who is fighting this fire. It is devastating, and I hope that the message gets across that clean forests are where we have got to go. Thank you all.
Jane Hull, the Republican governor of Arizona, speaking about the devastating fires in her state, the worst ever, we're told, in Arizona. I want to talk about that. I want to bring in our late edition of Final Round panel. Joining me now, Donna Brazil, the Democratic political strategist, Peter Beinart of the New Republic, Jonah Goldberg of the National Review Online, and Robert George of the New York Post. Jonah, the governor seems to be blaming the government, the federal government, for part of the problem, the devastating fires in there, because the government presumably wasn't doing a good enough job, in her words, cleaning up these forests.
It wasn't that it wasn't doing a good enough job, and she's absolutely right that the federal government has something to do with this. The federal government sent a policy which said, at the behest of environmentalists under the Clinton administration, which said that you can't clear away dead wood from a lot of these places. They stopped the building of roads in certain places, and the governor is absolutely right. Fires in Mother Nature used to clean out forests by burning them. And unless we were perfectly happy, the Sierra Club and these groups are saying fires are good. Well, fires are good in the big ecosystem sense, but not when you have tens of thousands of people living on the edges of forests.
There's another problem here, which is that the government should not be encouraging, in fact, it should be discouraging, just as we now do with floods, people who go and build homes, particularly homes that are not fire-coded the way they are in some other parts of the country, that are very close to these fires. That's the other problem, and that's where libertarians and these Western politicians have been totally AWOL. You have to make it like it is for floods. If you build a home in a dangerous area and you don't fireproof it, you should not get money from the government to rebuild.
But on this issue, Robert, of these, what they call controlled burns, where the government goes in, the Forest Service goes in, they start these fires deliberately to clean up some of the dead wood. Apparently, the environmentalists don't like that policy.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's because obviously they feel, it should be trees uber alles, and the thing is, the failure, or I should say, in a sense, the success of the environmentalists in pressuring the federal government not to permit that is created the situation we've got now.
Environmentalists are to blame for this?
Absolutely not. I think the environmentalists are just as concerned with the governors and others in preserving the forest, as well as finding ways to prevent these fires from spreading in the future. And the government should step in to try to help them right now.
All right, the fires in Arizona, the fires in Colorado, and let's hope those fires are out pretty quickly. But let's move on now and talk about the fallout from news that the National Security Agency, that super secret agency of the U.S. government, intercepted messages about September 11th on the day before the attacks, but didn't translate those messages until the day after. Earlier today, the chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, Democrat Bob Graham of Florida, said disclosure of that information is a major setback for U.S. intelligence efforts.
I'm certain that there's, if he's still alive, there's a terrorist somewhere who communicated information back in September of 2001 and now understands that we were listening to that communication, and he or she is not likely to use the same form of communication in the future, and so we've lost a valuable source.
Donna, some are suggesting, I don't know if you're one of them, that the White House may be more concerned about the leak than the original intelligence failure.
Well, I think it's difficult to measure what the White House is most concerned about, but members of Congress did rush to the Senate floor, to the House floor, to condemn the leak, as well as send a letter to an agency that is under investigation, the FBI, to say investigate us to see if we could do a better job. But the real information that the Intelligence Committee should be receiving on a daily basis from the White House and others, they need that information so that we can assess what really happened and we can move on and prevent these type of attacks from happening.
Jonah, when CNN first reported the exact words that were intercepted, the source of our report was congressional sources.
Yeah, and it sounds like it came from, I take CNN at its word that it came from someone in Congress. And one of the things I think is important to keep in mind here, you asked the question, is the White House more concerned about the leak or the intelligence failure? Well, a leak is an intelligence failure. It's asking, in some ways, it's like saying, are you more concerned about the hole in the boat or the water coming up through it? They're basically the same thing. And whether or not the White House is concerned specifically about the content of this leak or not, it's very hard to say. But my guess is that what they're trying to do is try to set an example right now, shoot a shot across the bow of Congress and say no more.
Peter, I've been a recipient of leaks now for some 30 years as a reporter here in Washington, and the executive branch of the government leaks as much as the legislative branch of government. Isn't this sort of a dead end?
According to a senior administration official.
Yeah. I get leaks from all sorts of places, but looking for the leaker in this particular case, what's that all about? Are they ever going to find that person?
Well, probably not. I think that, as Jonah said, the hope is to basically scare people a little bit so it doesn't happen again. But the basic problem is leaks are very, very bad, and they cause a lot of problems. On the other hand, we do need to have some way of from the outside of pressuring these agencies, which tend to be very resistant to change, to change their behavior, to do a better job. And that tends not to happen unless you create public pressure, and that's the problem. How do you create public pressure without these leaks?
Right. NSA shouldn't stand for not secret agency. However, I do think, obviously, leaks are a problem, and I think the administration was right to shut this down. That said, however, neither the administration nor any of the Democrats were exactly complaining when the FBI and the CIA were in this war of leaks as to who knew what when. So there's it's getting a little bit silly in terms of who's being pure on this.
All right, let's take a quick break. We have a lot more coming up. Up next, are you planning a trip this week? Be sure to check if the trains are running on time, if they're running indeed at all. We'll discuss Amtrak's money problems just ahead, plus your phone calls and email. Our final round will continue.
Less paperwork, only from Bank of America. America Online. It's so easy. Click and giddy up.
Send emails fast.
Instant messages are so much fun.
A lot of people on my buddy list.
Ding.
Chat, instant messages.
That fast.
AOL has got it all.
So easy to use, no wonder it's #1. Call now. So easy.
Say goodbye to machines taking up valuable office space and tap into the Kinko's network.
Acid reflux disease can really upset your plans.
You never know when to expect it.
The burn can stop you in your tracks.
You worry about the risk of long-term problems.
I got help. Learn to handle the disease and the risks in ways that make sense for me.
Call this number now for information and a free kit from Prevacid, a handbook on managing acid reflux disease and its risks, a risk alert profiler, a guide to making the most of your next doctor visit.